Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zmore the Dad in DPS, and we're back again with another episode of The Good, The Scrap, and The Scrap, a series where I review weapons that I've found in the wasteland and see if they're any good. Quite often they are, mainly because if it's absolute garbage I won't tend to review it. But before we get into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, what's today's weapon? Don't be fooled, I'll always have the last laugh. So I'm not actually sure if I've ever done this type of weapon. You might think it's a fixer, but no, it is a combat rifle. Now, the effects on here are anti-armor, last shot, and VATS critical meter fills 15% faster. Now, what I've done with this weapon deliberately, as you can see, I've got a quick magazine on there so that I have the smallest magazine size possible with the greatest amount of reload, just to see if we can pump out that last shot more and more often, and just generally see how well it does, along with the tweaked automatic receiver to get optimal amount of crits and as many bullets out of this gun in the shortest amount of time. So it's something I'm definitely keen in seeing. Combat rifles are kind of crapped on because they're not fixers. They do decent damage. They are very decent guns and still very, very usable in the game. They're just not as prolific as the fixer. And realistically, in terms of damage, they're very, very similar. I can't remember which one has the higher fire rate, but one has a higher fire rate, the other has the higher damage. So it sort of balances out. And I think it might be the fixer that has the fire rate and not the damage. But either way, this thing should hurt quite a lot of things, so let's see how it does. So, how does this weapon stack up in comparison to the other kind of combat rifles and things like that? Well, it does really well. As you can see, the damage is pretty consistent. And the biggest problem I have with it, if I'm honest, is that my urge with every fibre of my being is to reload every 10 seconds after I've killed the enemies that are currently visible to me. And because of the nature of the weapon, I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Now, in terms of getting last shot to do anything meaningful against small enemies, I don't think you're really going to get the full benefit out of it. It's really going to fall down to the larger enemies that this effect really matters on, because with the gun the way it is, I'm killing general enemies way too quick for it to matter. But at the same time, against the Queen and Earl, that last shot, and especially if it crits, which is 15% more likely because of the other effect, it could do some pretty hefty damage. So it is definitely a decent gun, definitely a decent effect. Maybe not the best variation of it, but again, that's a really difficult thing to tell without having a load of them and testing them in tandem. And that's maybe another thing to think of for another day. But then, in the case of that, faster fire rate might be the better option, or explosive still might be the better option, but it still doesn't get rid of the fact this effect is actually decent. So yeah, let's look at the build. So next up we have the build. You guys will be familiar with it from now. It's basically just my commando build that I've always used. I'm not really going to go into it too much, just showing you the perks one by one. If you really want to take a proper look at it, freeze frame this. It's just for optimal damage and crits and all that kind of thing. Tormentor's on there because it pretty much just ruins the day of any enemies I shoot. But yeah, that's all there really is to this. Once again, we're back with the colossal, big-ass Hulk impersonator that we all know and love, Jeff. And as you can see, he is woke up cranky. We are not going to improve his day, because we're going to shoot him in the face and see how well this gun does. I suspect he won't live very long, let's be honest. So as you can see, less than a full clip, and Jeff is no more. Does the work. Now we are back at Sunrise Field, looking for the Mirelurk Queen. Now she's a big pain in the butt because she likes to sleep. So sometimes I need to run in, leg it out of the area, and wake her up. Luckily, this weapon is pretty damn amazing, and it should, well, I shouldn't have any real issues with taking her out. All our little butt buddies are going to be a pain in the butt at times, but realistically I just need to find her legs and wreck her day. Now that's one set of legs gone. Let's go for the next set. And now she is unable to turn, which means I can then focus my entirety of my wrath on her head, or sprouts in this case. Now, unfortunately, I have been found out by the rest of the enemies, so I'm not really gonna care about that too much. But as you can see, this weapon, along with Tormentor, just completely wrecks everything that she could possibly do. On top of that, we've got these guys, which really don't stand much of a chance against this weapon anyway. So you're seeing it's tearing through Mirelurks like nobody's business. Even the king is not particularly happy with it. This is taking longer than expected, mainly because I didn't clear out the enemies just to show you how well this weapon does. It's a case of I really don't need to worry. As long as I target the legs first and just completely neutralise her ability to move, just about any rifle will take out the queen with ease. So, how does this weapon do in daily ops? Well, in comparison to the Fixer, it's very similar. There's no real way to say which way or whatnot. The gun itself is just fantastic at dealing damage, good fire rate, good range, if you can find the enemies, and it takes out enemies from daily ops like they're nothing, just like a Fixer would. So it is a fantastic gun. I'll be honest, I'm not really noticing the last shot effect on this gun at all. I just thought it was worth seeing if we'd get any real visible evidence of it being amazing. But anti-armor on a combat rifle is very, very good, as is. So I'm kind of not seeing the effects of the last shot unless I'm against a big enemy, and even then I'm not really noticing it all too much because of the nature of how much bullets are in the clip and all that kind of thing. Either way, this is still a really good gun, and we'll get to see how it does against the big boss of this zone. Now we are up against the big bad last enemy, so let's see how this gun peels through him like a cherry tomato. I'm not expecting too much in the way of resistance, but we'll definitely get to see if he does manage to do much. As you can see, my friend there is kicking his ass just as much. Overall, you do good damage. There's no bad thing about this weapon. I would say that the Fixer is comparatively better, but only by a little margin. So yeah, you get a combat rifle, use it. Ammo efficient as well. So that's today's video, guys. Now before we finish, I'd like to thank all our YouTube members, which are Twice Baked Spuds, Golty, Wyatt Blackburn, Waller is Me, Mr. Red, Deofane Gaming, Fatheaded Druid, Colin G, Garrett McKnight, Chris K, Brian RMC, Peggy McKnight, Metal Doom, Motazbo, and Dragon God Slayer X. Big thank you to you guys. We can't do this without you. You help motivate me and keep me going. If you'd like to become a YouTube member, click the join link down below to become one. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.